thank you again for
Yeah.
joining me today.
You're welcome. Thank you for
Um,
asking us.
oh, my pleasure. It was so much fun working with you, and everyone on the team enjoyed really working with you, and still enjoy working with you. So
Yeah.
Yes.
thank you for being our clients. Tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what your life looked like before moving to France?
So I'm originally from Ohio in the United States, but I was in the military for 26 years and we retired in Northern Florida, of all places. Life before we moved was I had actually just gone back to work as a civilian at my old unit. And so working, traveling,
Living on the beach.
living on the beach, pretty difficult.
It was, and I'm originally from Los Angeles. Um, and when we got married, I kind of had to follow her wherever we went.
Mhm.
We were living in Florida, and then in 2018, right after she retired from the Air Force, actually, our little town that we were living in, which was about 1,500 people,
Okay.
got destroyed by a Category 5 hurricane.
Oh
Mhm.
And
no.
so um, it was actually a big part of why we moved. We rebuilt our house, but because it was on the beach and it was kind of tucked away and nobody really knew about it. What ended up happening after the hurricane is you had a lot of these investors coming up and buying properties for cheap, and then it just turned into a resort town, and it just was not the same.
Mhm.
Okay. So it changed completely
Yes.
the
Entire
face. Okay. And what about France? Why did you decide to move this direction? Was it always a dream, or did it just evolve into being a dream?
we we had always considered leaving the United States.
Mhm.
Hmm.
We had looked at other countries, several countries. And honestly, initially, France and Paris specifically felt like a little bit of a pipe dream. We didn't think we didn't think it would be affordable,
Okay.
and it wasn't until we were together here in 19.
19.
And you know how it is. You walk around the town and you see the immobiliers and you're looking at apartments and stuff, and you're like, "Oh, that's not as bad as I
Yeah.
thought it would be."
I could live here.
And so it definitely moved up on the list.
Hmm.
And I don't know. You go ahead and take it.
I think, yeah, once we realized how affordable it was and actually how surprisingly easy it was to get a visa, we took a month in 2023,
January 23.
came over and spent a month
Which
and
Okay.
stayed in Paris and lived, we rented apartments for 10 days each so we could live in different arrondissements and see what vibe fit us best.
And when we did
So,
that,
yeah.
though, and this is something I would tell anybody who can afford to do that before they actually move, we did that, and we made it a point not to come as tourists,
Mhm.
but to do it like, okay, we're going to get an apartment, then we're going to make sure where can we get groceries, where can we get the things that we need to live, where are the hospitals, where are the and actually be in the neighborhood and even talk with our neighbors and stuff like that, so we could get a really good feel for whichever neighborhoods were on our mind for potential landing spots. And so we did that
And
for 10 days in each one.
and which neighborhood was it that you really
For
liked?
us, it ended up being the 16th.
Mhm.
Okay. And what was about the 16th that you liked so much? Like, what was the tipping point? What was the point that was like, oh my God, it could be it?
All three of the apartments we like considered were here in the 16th, weren't they?
Yes.
So we'd had when we hired you guys, you had a whole bunch of apartments for us to look at, and they were all over the city. But we kept, for whatever reason, we kept like, ooh, that one. Let's look at that one. And it was just that it happened to be in the 16th.
Mhm.
Ooh, let's look at that one. And it was in the 16th. And I think for me, this is just for me, I felt like where we are right now, where we live now, it feels very much like it's a little neighborhood. Whereas a lot of Paris, you feel like you're in tourist central. And so
Hmm.
we don't, I mean, we're probably 2 blocks from the stadium where Paris Saint-Germain plays. We can walk there. But even with that being right there, we don't feel like we get a lot of tourists who come. So the only foot traffic we really get are our neighbors, and whenever there's a match. And so whenever we want to go to the tourist stuff, like when we have friends who come and visit us and they want to go see the Eiffel Tower, they want to go to Musée d'Orsay, they want to go wherever, we can get on the metro, take them there, and then leave it all back behind when we come back home and not have to be surrounded by, all of that noise.
For me particularly, the 16th was because of our dog. We have a 15-year-old dog that we moved here with.
Yeah.
Well, he was 13 then, and I wanted him to have wide streets and parks and trees.
And there's a lot of parks.
And not a lot of crowds, because he didn't in Florida, he didn't enjoy people. He didn't like seeing other dogs. He was very anxious, which we're convinced they swapped him out on the plane because he's very chill here. He loves it.
He loves Paris.
So for me, it was just the more space and more greenery for him and less busy people and traffic, I guess.
But yeah, I love where we are.
Yeah.
16th is absolutely the vibe of village, and a lot of greenery, more room, more space. Absolutely. I don't know how far you are from like Bois de Boulogne or other parks or Parc des Renards. Yeah, those are also great places for the dogs and for human beings as well. Like you can go and picnic, you can go for a run. They're amazing.
I take him probably once a week over to the Parc Saint-Germain. He loves it. That park is huge and it's beautiful and it's But
I was there yesterday with my dog, and one of our colleagues just got a puppy on Saturday. So we took both of them to be friends, and we've spent the entire afternoon in Parc de Saint-Germain. Yeah. It's a great place for dogs and the humans and for everyone, for the kids. Yeah. You feel like you have your private garden, actually.
Exactly.
Yeah. It's very, very nice. Well, I'm happy to hear that you like the 16th. It's a very likable place to live.
Very likable.
Rudy, I wanted to ask a little bit about your visa situation, because you mentioned earlier, both of you, that it was very easy to get a visa. So what type of visas did you get, and what happened next?
So initially, we both got the okay. I screwed up when we originally moved here because I was going to get an entrepreneur visa, right? And I did everything. I thought I did everything that I was supposed to do. I missed one very important piece of information on my checklist. When we got to, what was that office in
VLS?
The VLS in Florida, when we were getting, our initial visa, he asked me for my background check. And I'm like, what? And he's like, you need to have, and since I didn't have that, I had to just change it back to my visitor visa. And I'm like, I'll just change it once we get here. So the first year I was on the visitor visa, and last year you guys helped me change it so that I could, work here.
Yes.
And I will, first I'm going to tell anybody who wants to come here and have their work visa, do that first. It's the easiest way to do it then. However, if you are going to change your visa, all I heard were nightmares. All I saw on message boards and Facebook groups was that it's a nightmare to change.
You can't do it. You can't do it.
I have to say, I went into it scared to death, thinking it was going to be a nightmare. The worst part about it for me was when I would get anxious because I didn't hear anything back from you guys. And David would shoot me an email. And he's like, no, I got it. We're just basically kind of waiting. You have to wait because I sent everything to the prefecture and now, So every time I got him everything he needed, he's like, okay, here's what I'm doing. And then we just have to wait. And then after waiting and waiting and waiting, I would bug him and bug him and bug him. And he was so patient with me.
So gracious.
He's like, okay, Rudy, everything's been done. Now we just have to wait. I'm going to call, I'm going to touch base with prefecture, but we're just waiting. And that's, so now this time around, we're getting ready to renew it. I know that if he asks me for something and I get it to him, I just wait. And so he made I made it much more stressful for myself just because of my own anxiety, because the reality is he had it all taken care of and it was smooth. I mean, the whole process was smooth. I literally just showed up at the prefecture twice. Once to get my temporary card when they extended, and then the second time just to get my actual card and everything. And that was it. It was like, this is it. This was all it was that I had. And all I had to do was just not stress out, trust David, and David took care of everything.
Yeah, but I must be honest, I totally understand. I think it's very difficult not to stress.
Yeah.
Part of our role is to reassure and basically help you understand the process. But the big difference is that when you apply for your visa for the first time, you apply at now TLS, before VFS Global, and it's very straightforward. You apply, you have an appointment, you go, you get your visa, and you come here. It's what, 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Everything, and it's predictable. The deadlines are predictable.
Right.
Once you start doing it, and that's also why the reason, get it right the first time.
Right.
Because when you do it here in France, you no longer work with the consulate and TLS. You work with famous Préfecture de la Police, Parisian or any other. Every one of them has their own specificity. There are people behind it, and it's infamously slow.
Yeah.
And it creates, so when you had the first experience with VFS and the second experience is with the prefecture, you don't understand what's going on. You don't understand why it takes so long. So yes, and trust me, this is a big part of our job, to basically manage this anxiety, because every single person has it. We are just doing our best to make sure that you know what's going on. Yeah. But sometimes we have hard times to get those answers, but we take it on us to get them.
David was he was the Rudy whisperer. He kept me calm. He was. And he was very patient with my bombardment of emails to him.
That's David. That's David. I know that personally, so this is kind of his personality trait. Thank God. I
was going to say real quick. Oh, sorry. I was saying I did a visitor visa, and what you were saying about it taking a long time. My first renewal I submitted in February of 2024. I got approved in September. It expired in April. And I just got my card in April of this year. So a year and 2 months after I applied for renewal, I got my card. And now it's time to, I just reapplied to renew again. So it took over a year to renew.
Yes. And then I don't think they don't understand, or maybe they do, but they don't really care how hard it is today for Americans to live without the legal papers, given everything is happening all over the world. Yes. It in your eyes, it makes you illegal immigrant here.
That's exactly what I thought.
Yeah, even for a short period of time. That's why we do all in our power to always obtain something, even if this is a temporary extension, if this is a paper that confirms that they are working on and everything is in check, blah, blah, blah. Anything that we can do so that you have this piece of paper that when you travel, you feel safe, that there is always something you can show to the authorities in case they ask. It's so important for mentality, because I totally understand.
And their credit, though, they did give me a temporary extension. They just emailed it to me one day, and I said, "Oh, I'm good until September," and I've been approved. But then it was just waiting 6 more months. So
I think, though, this time around, now that we've been through the waiting and all of I think, at least for me, my anxiety level this time, because I talked to David like a week or two ago, and so here's the process, here's what we're going to do, and I'm like, cool. I'm not worried. Like, I am legitimately not stressed at all.
So, but it's your third time. That's the thing. I think so. Third time is a charm. But I think this time we will go with the 4-year extension renewal. So how is it? I'm gonna ask Rudy again for your business. How is it like running a business in France in comparison to running in the US?
Different, because so much of it's online. In the US, I could just go and talk to people, right? And then it's like word of mouth, and everybody talks to everybody else. Because so much of what I'm trying to do is online, it's a lot different, actually. I will tell this, I will say this. I wish that I had taken the time to really learn French before I came out here, because I tell Samantha all the time, I'm like, the big problem is the language barrier. That's my biggest kind of hindrance, has been the language barrier. Because when we got here, I took an immersion class, and that's good enough to get like to the grocery store and to the restaurants and stuff. Maybe make a little bit of small talk, but it's not really good when you're trying to talk to somebody about setting up their website or doing some, virtual assisting for them or whatever. It's a challenge. So that's one thing that I would think is, I wish I had done differently. That said, I haven't seen any real roadblocks. Like, there's nothing that stops me. I can do as much or as little as I want. I think the biggest thing, like when we were just gone this past week, I had somebody reach out to me and asked me for help. He was coming into town. He was going to be here for a day, but it was when I was gone, and he had like 7 or 8 hours, and I could put an itinerary together for him, but I wasn't going to be able to be here to hold his hand. So I actually had to give that to somebody else. And it was like, that's the only thing that's really kind of been frustrating more than anything.
Yeah. So but you're talking about the working with clients, so the operational side of the business. Yeah. What about the administrative part of running a business?
That was easy. And I don't know if that was, David's doing, or if that's just something that happens. But once everything was set up, I got my emails from the prefecture or whoever it was. And I have every quarter, I have to report my earnings, and then they take, and that's it. And that's honestly it's not hard. It's not intimidating. It's not, it's like, okay. And you can't forget, because you're getting emails a month before, 2 weeks before, days before. And you just literally click, log in, everything's online, and everything is nice and easy. So as long as you keep your records, it's smooth sailing.
Yeah, so that is one of the systems that is very, very well organized here in France, because you just log in, you put a number, and then everything is automatic. And then they even take the social charges that are due. They take it from your account.
Yep.
So you just need to make sure that you have enough in your account, but that's about it.
Yeah.
What about you, Samantha? How does your life look like in comparison to your life in the United States? And what do you do?
Well, it's a little different now. So I came here fully retired. But being in the military for 26 years, I started, I think, getting a little
stir crazy.
I need a routine, if that makes sense. So I'm actually going back to school and getting another bachelor's degree in something I enjoy, as opposed to something that will help my career.
Okay.
So I've no plans to go back to work. So I'm actually going full time and getting an English literature degree currently.
Amazing.
And I will be done in December.
And then she's going to get another degree.
And then another one. I have the GI Bill, which pays for my school. So I can get 3 more bachelors in 3 years just for fun, which is what I'm doing.
Amazing. Well, congratulations. That sounds like so much fun.
If they did French fully online, I would do one in French, but you have to have in-person classes for that. So,
oh, that's unfortunate. But you have like immersive course.
Exactly. So my days currently are filled with reading English, Shakespearean poetry and dramas and books and novels, and I love it. I complain here and there.
She does complain here and there. She has to read
50 pages to read in 3 days.
But then I remind her, I'm like, baby, when you retired, you said all you wanted to do was get paid to go to school, and you're getting paid to go to school. So,
right.
You get paid to read books.
Yes,
she does.
I do. It's a rough life.
Awesome.
In Paris.
In Paris.
You get paid to read books in Paris.
Yes.
I mean, I think that's pretty cool.
It's okay. It's all right.
You mentioned something about your routine. So what is your routine? What does your life day look like?
I'll just go for me really quickly, since I think he has more of a routine than I do. But since I've learned since moving here, I used to be a night owl in the United States. I would stay up late on weekends. Here I wake up at around 3 a.m. every morning.
Okay.
And I think it's because I'm such a natural introvert. I love Paris, I do, but I can go and sit on my balcony, and it is generally, except for a few parties here and there, quiet. It's so quiet outside at 3 a.m. I have my coffee. I watch the sun come up and listen to the birds. So
And then you do your homework.
then I do my work on my homework for a little bit, take a break, do lunch, more homework.
Sitting on a balcony in silence, listening to birds while you sip your coffee and watch the sunrise. It doesn't seem like you're describing a life in Paris, one of the busiest capital cities in the world.
It's our neighborhood.
And yet here we are. I think it's important to say that Paris has so many faces, and then you're still walking distance to many attractions.
Yes, absolutely. So I think that's why I get up so early, so I can have that just quiet time as an introvert.
Because once it starts to wake up, even in our neighborhood, it gets loud and busy, and
we have the cafe right across the street, which we love the people watching, and we love going over there for a wine before dinner or for dinner or lunch. So yeah, it gets a little busy over there sometimes.
Between that, the hospital, because we also have the hospital, so you get the ambulances and stuff and whatever. But yeah, at 3, 4 in the morning, it is nice and quiet.
It's so quiet.
My day is usually, I'm a night. I'm much more nocturnal. So I do a lot of work in the middle of the night. Like when she goes to bed, I'm usually on my computer. And then I go to bed at like 2, 3 in the morning, just as she's getting up. But I don't sleep very long. I'm usually up by 9, and I get up, and the first thing I do is have a cup of coffee, and then I take my dog and we go for a walk around, and he gets to, sniff all the things and enjoy his day or his morning, come back, and by then she's ready for lunch and I'm ready for breakfast. So I'll whip up something for the two of us. Then we'll eat together, and then I will kind of get my day started, I guess. And most days I am being sent out to fetch things for her. Because we have a Carrefour and the grocery store right here. And one of the things that we have found is that because here everything is fresh, right? So like, okay, what are we going to have for dinner tonight or this evening or whatever? I'll run down there, get the things for dinner or whatever, bring those back, and then I'll do some work. And then later on, when it starts to get dinner time, we'll start getting those things ready. And usually by then, she's kind of winding down for the rest of her day. Like she spent her whole day doing her homework and all that stuff. So she's kind of winding down, and we might, if I'm not cranky, work on dinner together in the kitchen. But sometimes I chase her out of the kitchen.
He does.
Because, I just am that way, I guess. And then in the evenings, after I've taken him out again for his, afternoon walk, we kind of that's when we get to spend our time together. And then she goes to bed at like 9:30 or
9:30 or 10.
And that's when I get up, and that's when I really start my day, and I really start doing, all of my things and stuff. I've always been a night person. Like even when I had a real job, back in the day, I always preferred like the middle shift, the shift that was in the middle of the day that started like 3 p.m, because it gave me my mornings to do whatever I needed to do. I still get home by 11 o'clock midnight, go to bed at 1 or 2. And I get a good night's sleep, and that's how I'm wired. So my day, my routine daily is pretty mundane. I'm not like, you'd think you're living in Paris, you're doing all of these amazing romantic things every day, but you're really just living your life. You just happen to have the most beautiful city in the world outside your door. That's all.
Right.
Yes. And I think that Paris can be romantic in many different little ways.
Yes.
I think what Samantha experiences in the morning is very romantic, like having a nice coffee and being alone in the balcony of a Parisian apartment and seeing the city waking up, and you going and thinking like what you're going to have for lunch out of the just produce that you can find in the local store. I think that can be also pretty romantic. So about that, what about your everyday diet or like food routine comparing to the United States? Because you said you basically cook daily now. Tell me a little bit about this.
I think we eat better.
Yes.
I think the big thing that we've noticed is this may sound strange unless you've lived in both places, but you can get the same food, right? Like you can get an apple, or you can get a cereal, or you can get just whatever it is. But you'll notice it tastes different here versus there. And I'm not trying to badmouth the United States, but I think it's because of all of the just the crap that they put in it, preservatives and the additives and everything. And it just so ends up tasting. So like you go here, even if I don't make it and I go to the boulangerie and, you know, obviously we'll get a baguette. We probably get a baguette a day, if not two. But you'll also, you know, sometimes we'll pick up desserts, pick up something sweet. Or in the morning we'll get a pain chocolat. And it's like the first time you have a dessert here, you realize one, it's flavorful. But, and this is a big, huge but, it's not nearly as sweet as the same thing might be in the United States. Fruits, they don't last as long. Vegetables, they don't last as long, like on the shelf. So you have to, that's why we go like every other day or whenever there's the farmer's market right down the street, which is 3 times a week. And you go, you want to make sure that you don't buy too much, because if you buy too much, it's going to rot. And it's because they don't put all of that stuff in it, that, you know, the preservatives. Those are the little things that I have found. I think my palate has definitely changed, because I used to have an incredible sweet tooth, and I didn't like the spicy stuff. And here, because things aren't nearly as sweet, I eat more of them, but they're less sweet stuff. Like I'm not as inclined to go and get the really sugary things. But I also find here that I'm much more willing to eat things that have a little bit more kick in them, a little bit more spice. And again, I don't know why that is. It just, you know, but then everything butter and garlic. Everything I make has butter and garlic.
It does.
It's very tasty. I can confirm. And also, where do you find spicy stuff in Paris? Because my husband loves spicy, and he's like, "This is not spicy."
I found some of the spices because we've traveled our first year here. We've traveled a lot. I got a lot of spices in West Africa. I also will have friends bring spices to us. There's also, though, I will say there's a couple of Mexican markets. I'm Mexican. Markets. So there's a couple of Mexican markets in town. In fact, there's one right over there by the Grand Rex, right down one of those streets. And you can go there and get red peppers, and you can get actual, you know, it's pricey. Obviously, because it's coming in from Mexico or wherever. Yeah. But yeah, they have a lot of really good hot spices. I mean, hot spicy too.
Yeah, because in French cuisine, there is no spice really. Like the chili pepper spice, you don't really feel it. But they use a lot of vinegar in French cuisine. There's a lot of mustard and vinegar and things like that. Yeah. I wanted to ask you also about the cultural differences. And I wanted to ask you, what are the cultural differences between the United States and France that you love? And what are those that you are still getting used to, I would say? I would put it like this.
I think for me, even though I'm not working, I love that France has more of a work to live attitude and not I live to work. Like people enjoy their long lunches. They're not working 3 different jobs, or working, 60 hours a week and worrying they might get fired and barely getting by. So I love that work is a thing that they have to do. Yes, but they're not giving their whole life to it. Their life doesn't revolve around it.
Like this month is actually a prime example. Like you were talking about it earlier, August, everything shuts down. The first August that we did here, when I went down to our little boulangerie and they were closed for a couple of weeks, I was like, this is insane. Now I'm like, good for them. Good. Go and enjoy. This is like, this life is,
Go enjoy. The thing that I'm still getting used to, and we have made some friends here, and we have a ton of friends come to visit, but it's much more difficult to make friends with the French, I will say, particularly Parisians, I would imagine. We meet people at concerts or anywhere in the States, and it's, here's my Facebook, let's hang out. We're friends now after meeting. And here it's being invited into someone's home.
But we have
a big step. But we have been, yes.
I think part of that too, though, and I think I have a slightly different take on it than you do. I tend to be much more sociable and outgoing. I've made friends here that I really like, and we've had them into our homes. We've been invited to other people's homes. I find I love, So like a pet peeve of mine, like this is a hill I will die on, that I've actually, whenever I see somebody post something about it online or something or in a group, I actually get really, really defensive. There's this stereotype of French people and Parisians particularly being rude.
Mm-hmm.
And that pisses me off
Yeah.
because it has been my experience over and over and over again that is absolutely untrue.
They're just direct.
They are direct, sure. But like here, you have to learn bonjour, you have to learn merci, and you have to learn s'il vous plaît. You get those three, it doesn't matter where you are in Paris or anywhere else in France, people will respond to you because you're being polite, right? But the flip side is that, yeah, they are, like she said, they're direct. And I like that because I don't like mindless small talk. I used to hate when I was living in Florida, when my neighbors would come over and I'm trying to do yard work and they just want to sit there and talk about the weather. I'm like, I don't care. Hot. Just leave me alone. I'm trying to do something. Here, they don't do that. If they're going to engage you in conversation, it's going to be real conversation. It's going to be interesting conversation. It's not just going to be, how's the weather? How's the blah, blah, blah. It's going to be something that's going to be like, oh, this is cool. This is something that I want to talk about. This is something that's interesting. I mean, I've been down with Dexter walking him, and I struck up a conversation with a man who has since become one of our friends. Mm-hmm. And we were sitting there talking about movies and cinema and the music specifically in movies. And then we start going, and we're having these kinds of conversations, not just the, how's the weather? What you been doing? You're doing yard work? Yes. It's like, But anyway, sorry, I get off my soapbox. So no, I love that the French are they don't have time for nonsense when it comes to conversation.
Yeah. What I also noticed, two things, is that why they can come up as rude is that they are very, very attached to the form of the conversation. Yes. So for them, it's very important to say bonjour.
Yes.
And then you wait for the bonjour. And then you have the attention. And then you ask them a question or you smile, say, how are you doing? I'm sorry to bother you. Do you mind if I ask you about this and this and that? And they're like, of course not. I would be happy to help. La, 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 la. And it has to be slow and polite, and the form must be there. And then when you finish, you need to say, thank you so much. That was very kind of you. And they will say, absolutely not a problem. Have a lovely evening. You too. Bye-bye. It's very like there is this form, almost like a poetry in the everyday interactions. Whereas sometimes I see and I'm like, oh my God, he's going to get into so much trouble because I'm in front of someone at the boulangerie and they come and they do their best and say, like, 2 croissants, s'il vous plaît. And I'm like, oh, you're going to be told, like, where is your bonjour? And that's why. And then the lady already is like, yes, there you go, like with that face. But immediately when you tell them, bonjour, madame, how are you doing today? And can I have 2 croissants? They look lovely. And immediately you will see that they are different. So that's the first thing that I believe that they are very, very. But the second thing, something that I think might be a cultural shock for Americans is that they are not shy to talk about politics.
Right. Mm-hmm. I love that.
Adult things. I'm not going to maybe say it and I was really like, oh my God. And very controversial topics.
Yes.
They would be like, oh, did you hear? And da 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 da. And I'm like, what are we talking about? What's happening? And they would make a joke. And also the third thing is probably the second degree jokes, the jokes that are a little bit like, you need to know, the inside jokes kind of almost. Mm-hmm. So the art of conversation in à la française is a little bit different than that. And I think if you don't understand it, they might appear as rude, but it's only because you don't play their game. You don't speak their language figuratively.
You don't do their dance.
You don't do their dance. Learn to dance and you will enjoy those conversations and they would be nice. And I think calling a French person rude would be a big insult to them. They don't want to be, they think they are very polite. you are being rude because you didn't say bonjour, because you didn't say this. And so I think, but once we learn this as the foreigners, the life is better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much. I have a couple of questions now to finish. What do you wish you had known before you moved?
For me, I think it's just knowing that certain things that we can buy and we take for granted in the United States, we can't get here. Just something simple off the top of my head. Like I get migraines frequently, and I rely on Excedrin, migraine strength Excedrin from the United States, and it is not available here to buy. So I wish I had known that so that I could known to bring a suitcase of it with me when I came back after my first, or when we came here. But now I just buy it when I go to the States, and
I think,
and find workarounds for other things, and try different things. I think like favorite foods, I'll try different foods. If I can't get the medicine I need, I'll go to the pharmacy and ask the pharmacist what they recommend and try whatever they recommend. And other than the Excedrin, though, everything's been great.
I think for me, the only thing that I would say, learn the language, learn the language, learn the language, learn the language. And then the other thing that I wish that I had known, or at least understood, was when you rent an apartment, and you have the building charges on there, that because we got hit with a big bill this year because the owner of the place was like, hey, they charged us more than we were charging you, so here you owe us another $3,500. And it was like, what? And so we didn't know that was even a thing. That's the one thing I would tell anybody who's going to come here and rent an apartment. Just keep a little bit of discretionary money aside, because that's a thing that happens. And then we were like this shocked. But
it was in the lease.
Yeah, it wasn't a lease.
Perhaps that we didn't read as closely as we should have.
But nobody reads all the fine print.
Right.
I mean, because it was down in the minutia. And so, that was the one thing I think that, and it's just little things like that, but once you learn them, there isn't anything. And I will say this, I will take living here with that little kind of unexpected pain in the butt, for the rest of my life over anything else I'm going to get back in the States at this point. Because you still don't have to worry about them jacking your rate. I mean, we have friends who are, their rent's going up 25, 30, 50% in the US, and there's nothing they can do about it. So I'll take that every day. Those are the little things, but I don't miss anything.
Okay. Second thing, other than Parisians not being actually rude, what is one misconception people have about moving to Paris and France that you would like to set straight?
That was actually the answer I had prepared, was the rude versus direct versus, greeting people properly and politely. So I'm going to let you take this.
I think one thing that I would like people to, I think the people come here is specifically to Paris. I don't know the entirety of France. I wish that people would, because what you see and you hear about is like people in the United States will make jokes about the French protesting and they this and that and whatever they do. I wish they understood how much freedom you have in a place like France to do protesting, to go out there and say, this isn't right. And I really wish they would understand that, like, it may not affect you or it may not affect me, right? But I'm still going to be out there, because if it's not affecting me, it's affecting you. And we are all like, there's this mentality here that we're all French. Like,
yes.
So if it affects you, you're French and I'm French. So I'm going to be out there protesting to support you. And I see that all the time. And I tell people when they come visit us, it's like, why do? And it's like, just because it doesn't affect you, it affects your Frenchmen. And so where it's different in the United States, and I don't want to get all politics, but it's different. There's a very much like, I'm this political party. I'm that political party. I'm this race. I'm that race. I'm this gender. I'm that gender. And so it doesn't affect me. It only affects them. So I don't need to care. Whereas here, if it affects any one of those groups, well, they're all French, so we all care. And I wish that was something that I really wish other people understood and then carried that with them wherever they go.
Yes, you protest not because you are one of the protesters.
Right.
You protest because you agree with what they stand for.
Yes.
And this is a big thing in France. And everyone is protesting. But also those protests, they really matter. Yeah. They really make a difference. They change things.
Yeah.
I have many friends who are in unions and they take it extremely seriously. Being a part of a union, it's a big deal in France. And a lot of initiatives like that are really a big deal for the government, and they really take it into account when they make laws. So yeah, I think it's very important, and I also love it about France, even if sometimes it's
inconvenient.
Inconvenient. Well, it can be a little inconvenient, but you go through Paris and you see. I remember last year there were like piles of trash,
right?
And you're like, that's probably not the prettiest look, but damn it, that was efficient. Yeah. That really did the job. And then because they were like, we're going to see what we're not going anywhere. You have to move first. And they did. They actually were. So that was absolutely amazing. What is another question? What is the one of the things that you did right in your move and you would recommend to anyone considering it?
I'm not saying this because it's you, but I would say hiring your friend in Paris. Honestly.
Thank you so much.
We had heard such horror stories about getting bank accounts, finding a landlord that would rent to Americans, being scammed when you're looking for apartments. And I think we partially just didn't know, honestly, where to start with looking for an apartment. We're like, well, we can look online, but okay, then what? You guys made it so easy, gave us so many options for apartments. And then we applied, we provided dossiers for 2 apartments and we got approved for both apartments.
It wasn't even that you guys had provided us apartments, which you did. You had a list of them, but we found one that wasn't on your list. And we were like, here's one that we're and you guys were like, all right, we'll go ahead and put it together. You guys got us in there, got us to go look at it. And that was the one that was the one that originally rejected us. And then you guys went to bat for us and got with the owner because I think it was the property manager that rejected us. And you guys went, we're going to talk to the owner. And you went over his head and got to the owner. And then we ended up having a choice because you got us approved there and approved here. And then we had to make a choice.
It was a difficult decision.
So I would absolutely recommend, so we both recommend, and I've recommended plenty of people to you guys.
Yes.
But even if you're not,
if you say Reddit, Facebook groups, anywhere I see people talking about moving to France, I'm like, here's how we did it. It was great. Worth every penny.
Yeah, I even have a little webpage and I have recommendations and one of them is yours. But whether you're moving to Paris, whether they utilize your friend in Paris or not, if you're considering it, find someone who specializes in what you guys are doing because it's worth the investment. You're not, we weren't chasing our tail. We didn't waste money on things that ended up being scams. We didn't spend money on things that were just a waste of money. You guys pointed us in the right direction every step of the way. And it makes your life so much easier.
So much easier.
I mean, you're a resource and people should be utilizing a resource like this. So, but I'm not saying that just because it was, I mean, it really did. It was, because if we hadn't.
Well, I think moving abroad, it's so stressful, regardless if you're using a relocation agency or not. And the mistakes can be so costly.
Yes,
absolutely.
If you don't do it right, that those 2 combined, I sometimes I'm very brutally honest with my clients, and I'm like, you don't have to hire us to do this or that, but I think you should hire us to do this or that because this is so technical in your case. This is going to be very difficult. I mean, unless you really want to learn a skill of, I don't know, learning all about real estate in Paris and the difference between different leases, save yourself trouble and just let us do it.
Yeah. Because it was like, we're like, we thought about it. If we had not used you guys, if we had just tried to do all of it ourselves, I don't know that we would have been able to actually get moved here. I really don't, because getting a bank account, it was worth the money. Absolutely worth it.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm going to make sure the team knows it, because,
Yes.
it's them actually. Yeah. And to finish, I have one question for you. What's the one pinch me moment that you've had since living here, or you have over and over?
So many. But the one that I think I would choose would be, we had just been here a few months and we went to Saint-Chapelle for a classical concert. And so it was golden hour, the sun was setting, coming through the beautiful stained glass. Vivaldi playing with the string quartet. There was a visiting violin player from the Paris Philharmonic was joining for that set. And I got emotional, like my eyes teared up. I was like, I can't believe I live here. And it was emotional. It was amazing.
I think for me, it was amazing. That moment, both very much, I think we both had tears in our eyes. I think for me, I get to experience this whenever we have friends, and we've had a lot of friends who have come and visited us, and they stay with us. We have a guest room, so they stay with us. One of my favorite things is I get to be tour guide, right? And it doesn't get old. I don't get tired of it, because these are people that I love. They're my friends. They're my family. But it hit me. So I'm going to tell you a little story, and you could probably edit this all out, whatever. We were here that January 23. We were staying in the 16th, but we were right there at, what is it, Bir Hakeim? And we were right there at that bridge. That's where we were staying. We literally could walk down there every night. And we were down there one night as the sun was setting, and we're just kind of enjoying the view and enjoying the tower. And this teenage boy grabs me. And my first instinct was to just make sure, I'm not getting, and he's just like, can you believe it? And he's getting emotional. And he's like, it's really, it's like right there. It's real. It's not just in the movies. And it took me a second, and I realized what he was talking about was the Eiffel Tower. And it was just as it was lighting up for the first time, and and he was just really just like, I can't believe, and it was like, I was there. So we were sharing this moment, I guess. And I was like, I hope I never lose this sight of this thing that is, and I have realized now, every time somebody comes and visits us, right? And I did this to one of my oldest friends. He was there. We've known each other for 41 years, since we were little kids. Him and his wife were here. And when they got here, they were tired. It was the middle of the day. Their cab didn't bring them by the Eiffel Tower, so they hadn't seen it. I said, okay, stay up till 11 o'clock. At 9 o'clock, I'm taking you somewhere. Don't ask me where. And I've done this now about 4 or 5 times. So we get on the 9 line, we go down to Trocadero, and I hit record on my phone, right? As we get up, and they come up on the platform, and their eyes just get huge, and they're getting emotional, and it's their first time ever seeing it. And I'm like, I know I'm not it's not like I did it. I didn't build it. I didn't whatever. It's like, I get to give it to them for their very first time ever seeing it. And I get to experience it for the first time all over again. And then 10, 15 minutes later, when it lights up and it's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. I love this, but I love doing that. Every time I walk by, because I go down there quite a bit, every time I walk by and I see it, it's just like, that's my gift I get to give to people who, and it's like, and the moment that I see their reaction, I know the rest of their trip, all they're going to see, the only thing they're going to see in the city is magic. And they always do. They end up, when they leave, when they go home, it's like they're floating back home.
Oh my God. That was beautiful. Right, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
No, that was a beautiful thing. I could see it and I could feel it. I wish you were the one who showed me the Eiffel Tower for the first time. Amazing. Thank you. So if you were to sum it up in 3 words, the whole experience.
I would say best decision ever. That's it. It's boring, but it's true.
Don't wake me up. If I'm dreaming, don't wake me. I mean, yeah, I would say it's the best decision we ever made. I'm glad I get to do it with you though, because it's like, yeah, because that's the best part of it for me, is doing it with her, because it's, we both walk around this town together and we'll be like, this is our life. This is our life.
We live in Paris. Still to this day, we live in Paris. Even
when we travel out, like to other cities, like when we were in Bordeaux or we're in Rouen, it's like we just hopped on a train and we were here in like an hour and a half. And this is we get to, I'm a history nerd, so I love it. I love it. I love seeing all of the old things and reading all of the old stories. And yeah, that's it. I would say I can't believe it. Just don't wake me.
Amazing. So what's next for you?
We are going to be here.
Yes.
For at least the foreseeable future in Paris. My hope is that I start to get a lot more business, or I start working more and whatever. And then in a few years' time, the plan is to pick another city in France. Someplace, I mean, it's affordable to rent here, but we would like to buy. And so we would like to go outside of Paris or to another city, like Bordeaux, where we can actually afford to just buy a place and then it's ours. And then put down roots and be done. And that's where we would live for the rest of our lives.
Yeah. But we actually had a conversation probably 6 months ago of, okay, we said we would be here for at least 2 years because of the Olympics that we wanted to go to, which we did. Amazing. We sat down and had the talk, and with Dexter, we've moved him across the country. He's been through hurricanes, losing our house, moving again, moving across the ocean. And I said, he's 15 now. I'm not moving him again. I'm just not. So we're in this apartment.
At least as long as we have
As long as we have him. After that,
then we'll look.
Then we'll look at maybe moving somewhere else.
But my God, my dog is the most Parisian dog. I swear. I swear. Like, he's like an anxious little nervous wreck when we were in Florida because of all of the thunder and all of the fireworks and all the whatever. As soon as I got him off the plane here, like, he was completely different. Like, yeah, no, this is where I belong. He's the most relaxed dog. We take him out. We can take him on the metro. We can take him down to the bistro across the street. And he's just like, and everybody loves him because he's a big, fluffy little dog. And everybody loves him. So he's like, yeah, no, this is how it's supposed to be. This is what life is supposed to be. Nobody exemplifies joie de vivre like my dog does.
There must be something in the water.
Must be.
So yeah, that's next. It's just enjoying Paris for however long we're here. And
Yep.
Amazing.
Not leaving
so
France.
good.
I think that's what's next. Is
we're not leaving France. I think I've officially just fallen in love with this country. Because everywhere we go, it doesn't matter where we go. It's everywhere we go, it's the same. It's the same thing insofar as, like, once you start to kind of like open your eyes and lean in and talk to people and do the dance the way that you're supposed to do the dance. Every place we go, it's like, okay, this just feels right. Everywhere we go. I think it's a French thing. It must be in the water.
Must be.
There is this, I think, joie de vivre.
Yes.
And they just enjoy things. Everything they do is enjoyable. I remember when I saw, I worked in La Défense before, so I had many French friends, and everything was about enjoying. When they were buying a T-shirt, they were like, "Oh, it's a great T-shirt. Everything was on purpose. Like, there was a purpose in everything they did." And then they would have a little glass of wine, and they would discuss the wine, and they would just. I know that in other countries they teach you about mindfulness. French people, they practice it.
Yeah.
They stand and they enjoy a piece of baguette and they say, "Oh, this is a great baguette." Or they would have, like, everything they do to just observe the moment they're in and they discuss it. And I think it's so wonderful.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think so too. And I love
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. Thank you so much for this interview. It was such a pleasure to listen. And I got emotional when you were telling me about this, all your stories. And I'm very happy that you are happy in France and in Paris.
Yes.
So
absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do tell the rest of your team, because you guys made everything easy.
Yes.
David
They're
is
amazing.
a godsend. He is an absolute godsend.
I know. I tell him every day. I wanted to thank you for telling your story, and it's a beautiful story. And very, very happy that we get to hear it from you, and we could be a part of it as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Actually, without you guys, I don't know that it would have happened. So thank you.
And then, yes, what did you want to say?
Oh, she said, go ahead, you say it. You're the one who...
Thank you for referring to us as your younger clients.
You are our younger couple, and you know, also like the fact that you're young and entrepreneurs, and I just wanted to show that aspect of moving and living in France, where you can just move here as a young couple or younger couple and build a business and have a successful business here, a little different than the one in the United States, and enjoy it.
Absolutely.
So thank you for sharing that story with me.
Absolutely.
Okay.